Hey there everyone, in today's video I'm going to help you guys learn how you can bend reality and attract your SP or love by tapping inside your subconscious mind. Now what I'm about to share with you guys today is the foundational block of my 15 days instant healing program, which has been able to give people consistent results with regards to attracting love or their SP, and this is the foundational block of my program. So if you understand what I'm about to teach you guys today, you will never ever need any more technique. Just follow what I'm about to teach you. Now what we are going to cover in this video is we're going to understand the concept of the mind is the universe, the psychology of beliefs, Hermetics, biology of Hermetics, Pygmalion effect, observer effect, mirror neuron effect, relationship energetics, and an action plan to attract your SP by the end of this video. So just grab your pen if you want to write it all down, or you can take screenshots, whatever you like. Just try to understand whatever I'm trying to teach you today. Now, the first thing is the mind is the universe. Now, a lot of the time when people come to me and they're like, what's the first step to transformation? This is what I have to say. The starting point of all transformation is this: everything you see, touch, experience, and react to is a direct extension of your own mind. Not your brain, your mind. This isn't philosophy. This is the very mechanism of your reality. So what is the difference between your brain and your mind? The difference is the brain is a physical tool. It manages biological functions, recalls memories, regulates movement, and reacts to external stimuli. It's hardware. It processes input and executes command. That's all. The biological definition of your brain is it's made up of neuron, blood vessel, electrical signals, and chemical messengers. It's powerful, but it's still limited by biology and evolution. It can't create outside of the information it has already been given. Now, how is it limited? The brain doesn't imagine from nothing. It recombines what's already familiar. It doesn't see into the future. It looks for the patterns from the past. That's why relying on your brain alone keeps you stuck in cycle. So there is a very big difference between what is your brain and what is your mind. And we need to understand this. A lot of the people understand mind from the perspective of biology, and that's where they get stuck. But let's explore what is your mind. Now, your mind is the non-physical field of thoughts, imagination, attention, and identity. It's the metaphysical space where beliefs are born and from which all reality is projected. The mind is not inside your skull, it's the field around and beyond your body. That's what mind is. Your mind is infinite because the mind is not constrained by time or space. You can imagine the future, you can access memories that feel real, you can visualize possibilities that haven't happened yet. And the interface that we have with regards to our mind is your mind is how you connect to God, source, the universe, or whatever else you want to call it. It's not separate. It's the same thing. Your mind isn't observing reality, it's shaping and selecting it moment by moment. Now, you see, a lot of the different religion that we all belong to, if you observe, they are based upon the same fundamentals. Is that coincidence? No, that is because all the religion and all the spiritual science are based upon how our subconscious mind functions. And that is the reason no matter which religion you follow, you will end up getting the same result, because they are all based upon the fundamentals of our subconscious mind and what our subconscious mind is capable of doing. So that means no matter which God or universe that you pray to, you get the same results because that's the power of your subconscious mind. And that is one of the biggest reasons each and every religion is based upon belief. right? Each and every religion talks about having good beliefs. So what is the importance of beliefs? So let's explore that. You see, reality is not a fixed objective place. It's a fluid mirror that reflects whatever you deeply believe to be true. Belief is not some flimsy concept, it's the operating system of your personal universe. So let's explore what belief is. Now, to understand belief subjectively, what's true for you literally becomes true in your experience. If you believe money is hard to earn, you'll subconsciously block opportunities, reject abundance, and surround yourself with people who reinforce the struggle. The belief creates the experience. You see, the power of our belief is it filters our reality. I'll explain to you guys this in a bit. Let's look at the example. Now, two people can be in the same situation, same economy, same room, same audience, and one will see opportunity while the other sees obstacles. The difference is not in the world, it's what they believe about the world. So, if you observe, two people can be placed in the same situation, yet their observable reality is different. One can see it as an obstacle, one can see it as an opportunity. So, reality is a figment of your imagination and your beliefs. Now, to understand the framework of belief, you need to understand that truth is never absolute. It's belief plus repetition plus emotional confirmation. That's what makes something feel real, not fact, not evidence, just agreement. Now, one of the facts about your subconscious mind that you need to understand is, you see, beliefs do not require any kind of facts. You can hold on to any belief and it will still manifest into your life. That means if you have any kind of negative absolute belief, which, for example, I've had few clients who came to me and they were like, do you know, like, I find all men are dogs. Now, you see, that's an absolute negative belief. Now, this person is so convinced by their belief that all men are dogs that what their subconscious mind does is it blocks opportunities, it rejects anyone that is good to them because that does not align with their belief. We all have a confirmation bias. That means whatever belief we hold on to, our subconscious mind will make sure that it can confirm that within our reality. So it places these filters on our reality where we are only focused on what can validate our beliefs. So holding on to any belief will manifest that particular belief. And the best part is, since our beliefs do not require any kind of fact, you can be completely delusional about any kind of belief and it will still manifest into your life. So you can hold on to some good delusional beliefs. Now, let's understand, can we control our beliefs? So here's the kicker. Beliefs are programmable. You can install new ones at will. You can uninstall the ones that no longer serve you. And when you do, your outer reality starts shape shifting to match the new inner code. Now, if our reality is a byproduct of our belief, that means if we can change our belief, we can change our reality. So let's understand, do we have some evidence? The brain then starts picking up micro signals and patterns it used to ignore because now they match the new internal command. So that means that if your old beliefs are uninstalled inside your subconscious mind and you install a new belief, it will operate the same way that your old belief was operating. So it will start observing these micro signals, these patterns, and it will start attracting whatever you truly desire into your life because our beliefs are operated by confirmation bias. And now this confirmation bias is working in our favor. So that's exactly what we all want, right? Now, how does our new belief change our experiences? This is why changing your belief feels like magic. You start noticing synchronicities, new people, new opportunities, and breakthrough. But it's not magic, it's you finally getting out of your own way. And I have observed this way too many times. If you go to my website or my Instagram, you're going to observe a lot of the testimonials where people are praising me as a magician. Now, did I do some magic? No. All I did was I stripped their old beliefs using instant healing hypnosis and I installed some new beliefs. And the power of belief is that the confirmation bias that we all have inside our subconscious mind starts manifesting these new beliefs. So it feels like magic, and I can tell you each and every form of magic is based upon your belief. It will work for you if you believe in it. If you do not believe in it, it will not work for you. So that means you need to understand the true magic is the power of belief. And there are several books out there that talks about the power of belief. So you need to understand everything is being controlled by your belief. Your entire reality is a manifestation of your beliefs. Whatever you are experiencing into your life is a byproduct of your beliefs. So if you're attracting something into your life that is really good, that's a byproduct of your positive belief. If you're attracting something into your life that you do not like or you do not enjoy, that's a byproduct of an absolute negative belief. So you need to change your absolute negative belief. Now, let's talk about Hermetics, because Hermetics have done something that even science feels really baffled by. You see, the ancient didn't have brain scans or psychology degrees, but they knew the truth. That's why the Kabbalion says the all is mind, the universe is mental. This is the first and important law of all. So let's understand this, because this is really interesting topic for me. Now, one of the things you're going to learn in Kabbalah, if you try to go and research on Kabbalah, is the rules and the laws that they have inside of Kabbalah are really interesting. And once you understand the science behind it, you would be baffled by how did those people uncover all of these mysteries about our subconscious mind back in the days when they had nothing. So one of the law is as above, so below. This means that this isn't symbolic, it's literal. What you experience in your mind becomes your material reality. Your thoughts are not private, they are generative. They imprint reality like blueprints. But I know this might be a bit of a challenging concept for a lot of you to understand. So let's have a translation for this. When you walk around thinking life is hard, I never get ahead, or I don't deserve more, you aren't just having thoughts. You are casting spells. You are placing orders to the universe. And if you are holding on to those kind of beliefs, guess what you are attracting in your life? You are attracting exactly that. You are the person who is casting the spell, and your spell is your belief. Whatever your belief is what you are attracting into your life. That is the true magic. Now, let's do a quick reflection. Look at your bank account, your relationships, your energy, and your environment. They are not happening to you, they are flowing from you. They are your internal state externalized. Now, whatever is happening in your reality is a byproduct of your belief or your subconscious familiarity. So, whatever you're going through, if you're going through a bad relationship, or if you observe that you keep attracting toxic partners into your life, that reflects your beliefs and your subconscious familiarity. They are all a byproduct of your subconscious mind. Now, another thing that we need to understand from Hermetics is vibration. The second Hermetic principle is vibration. Everything moves, nothing rests. Your thoughts vibrate, your emotions emit frequencies. Now, this is law of vibration. A lot of you might have come across law of vibration. The origin of law of vibration came from here. Harmony. Every frequency attracts its own kind. Love pulls in more love. Fear pulls in more fear. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. Now, if you observe the part about fear, let me explain that to you guys. You see, fears are the opposite of beliefs. Now, the only reason our fears manifest faster than our belief is because all our fears are backed by emotions. Didn't we understand that to have a belief manifest into our life, it needs to be backed by certain emotion? But if you observe, fears are always backed by emotion. I'll give you an example. I have always been afraid of roaches. Now, guess what? Since I have had that fear inside of me, every time I came across a roach, it was coming right at me. And a lot of the people would be like, why does all the roaches come right at you? I didn't understand back then, but once I became a hypnotherapist, that's when I realized my fear was manifesting. The moment I removed that fear, the emotional charge that was backing my fear, that fear was gone, and I no longer came across those kind of moments ever again. So fears are the opposite of beliefs. Remember that your fears will manifest faster than your beliefs. Now, shifting. Now, let's talk about shifting. If you want to have a different outcome, you don't need to get new goals, you need a new vibration. Shift how you feel, and the world responds accordingly. Exactly the example I was giving you guys about. Once I removed my fear with regard to the roaches, that's when they stopped coming right at me. So you see, the moment you shift what's going inside your subconscious mind, your entire vibration shifts. Your vibration attracts similar kind of experiences into your life. Whatever you are vibrating is what you are attracting. Whatever you are vibrating is what your reality is. Now, let's dive into the biology and how our biology supports hermetics. You see, science confirms what Hermetics knew all along. Your brain is wired to confirm your belief. This is called confirmation bias, one of the most studied phenomena in psychology. And that's what I was talking about, that your beliefs come true because we have confirmation bias. Our fears come true because we have confirmation bias, and that confirmation bias can be used in our favor if we know how it works. Now let's understand what does confirmation bias does. It does what we call filtering. You literally filter out any piece of data that doesn't align with your current belief system. Your brain's job is not to show you what's true, it is to show you what's consistent with what you already believe in. Now you see exactly what we were talking about. Now let's look at the example. If you believe you are not charismatic, you will ignore every smile, every compliment, every social success. You will only see the one person who looked away that becomes your proof. And let's talk about the loop, then I'll give you an example. Then you say, see, I knew I wasn't good at this. But it's not the truth. It's belief being reinforced by selective perception. Now, I'll give you a very great example. Through half of my life, I thought I was the most ugliest person. And because of that, I kept attracting people who would reinforce that belief into me, and they would talk shit about me. But only once I realized that it's not about the facts, it's about what I believe in, and I changed my perception about myself, that's when I started noticing that people were always there who were complimenting me, people who were obsessed with me, people who really appreciated the way that I look, they were always there. I didn't notice them. I didn't allow them to come close to me because my subconscious mind was trying to play out my belief through confirmation bias, and it was filtering my entire reality. And that's what it means when they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you believe in beauty, you will attract beauty. If you do not feel beautiful inside, you will not attract beautiful experiences outside. That's what it means. And now you know. Now, let's talk about, can we program our mind? This is a very interesting thing. My entire channel is based on this. You see, the mind works like a thermostat. It's always trying to return to the temperature that is the belief system you have set. You see, if something good happens that exceeds your self-image, you'll sabotage it to stay congruent. And that's exactly what I was talking about just a minute back, that this is what happens. If you feel you are not good looking enough, you will observe only the people that reinforce that belief. Anything that does not match your belief, your subconscious mind will try to ruin it. Now, what's the hack? But if you reprogram the belief, everything changes. The thermostat gets set higher and the brain works to bring your external results up to meet it. You see, once I installed that new belief inside of me and I started feeling good about who I am and how I look, once I was okay with that, once I accepted myself, I started admiring myself. That's exactly when I started observing that there are way too many people who would agree with me. This is the power of reprogramming your mind. Now let's talk about one of the most interesting topic, and I love this topic, that is prediction. This is one of the fundamental reason I am able to read people's mind. At times I will just meet someone and I will tell them what's going to happen in their future, and they would think I run some kind of an occult, or I am some magician, or I am some kind of a wizard. But what I'm doing is I am predicting their future by doing exactly what I'm about to teach you now. You see, the self-fulfilling prophecy is not just an idea, it's a psychological law. When you expect something, you unconsciously act in ways that bring it into existence. You literally become the cause of your own evidence. When I meet people who go like love doesn't exist, it's just fake, everyone is so fake, I can naturally tell this person has an absolute negative belief about love. And I tell them, you know what? I can already tell in your future, you might never be happy in love. So did I predict this particular person's future? Yes, I did. But did I write their reality? No, I didn't. I just know that the beliefs become our self-fulfilling prophecy. Our subconscious mind will live up to our beliefs, and I am just translating their own beliefs back to them, and that's how I can predict people's reality. Now, let's observe the cycle. Every belief sets off a behavioral chain. You believe you are going to fail, so you hold back, procrastinate, self-sabotage, or project insecurity. Then what happens? You fail. Not because failure was inevitable, but because your actions were aligned with it. At times when you want to achieve something, but your belief is not aligned with it, your subconscious mind will make you want to procrastinate. It will take your mind elsewhere, but it will not align you with whatever you truly desire, because it is not aligning with your belief. Let's take an example. You believe you are not good enough, so you don't ask for the opportunity. Someone else does. They get it. You then tell yourself you were right. But the only thing you were right about was how you choose to behave. Exactly what I was talking about. And what happens when these experiences form a loop? This is how beliefs turn into prophecy. You act like they are true, so others respond accordingly. Then you point to the response as proof that your belief was correct, but it never was. It was just well executed by your subconscious mind. Now you see, you hold on to a negative belief, it happens, and it keeps happening again and again, and somehow it becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's how I predict people's life. Now, what is the reversal of this? The same mechanism works in your favor when used consciously. Expect greatness, move like greatness, talk like greatness, and watch how the world starts treating you like greatness. Now we call this a rock star model. Now I want you to observe this. A rock star model is, there was a study that was conducted, and in that study what happened is, few people asked a friend to walk like a rock star. Now, this friend wasn't even a rock star, so they asked him to go to a club but walk like a rock star. Now, this person entered the club and they started walking like a rock star. Now, as he started walking like a rock star, something really incredible happened. People started treating this person like he was a rock star. Why? This is because his entire body language, his belief that he is a rock star, was generating a vibration, was generating these micro signals, and that was influencing other people's subconscious mind. And when other people's subconscious mind picked up that vibration and those micro signals, they responded to that. This is the power of your subconscious mind, and this is what you need to understand. This is how powerful your subconscious mind is. If you believe in something, the world responds to it. Even if you are not, the world will respond to it. And how do you create these new chains? You show up confidently, you take up space, you speak with clarity, people respond. Opportunities appear, coincidences happen. It feels magical, but it's mechanical. There is no such thing as luck. Let me tell you, there is no such thing as luck. Luck is a byproduct of your belief. If you believe that you are a lucky person, you will keep attracting luck, because confirmation bias will play in and you will become lucky. So let's talk about creation. You are not waiting for signs, you are triggering them. You become the reason things shift, and that's when your belief turns into fact. Now, one thing I want you to understand from this segment is how self-fulfilling prophecies work. If you have any kind of absolute negative belief with regards to relationships, they will keep manifesting into your life. They will become your self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that love is hard to find, you will never find love. And even if you do, you will ruin it, because your subconscious mind will play out the confirmation bias and it will ruin a good love story. So that's how your subconscious mind works. Now let's talk about expectations. The Pygmalion effect proves that others' expectations of you have real, measurable influence on your performance. If people believe you are capable, you become more capable. If they expect you to fail, you unconsciously fulfill that too. Now, there is a very great study on this. Now, in this study, teachers were told randomly that selected students were academic bloomers. Over time, those students showed higher IQ gains solely because the teachers treated them differently. The expectations became a reality. Now, this is law of assumption over here, guys. Now, understand why it happened. The teachers smiled more, challenged them more, gave more feedback, and showed more warmth without realizing it. The belief changed behavior, the behavior changed the result. Subtle? How? Nothing was forced, it was all unconscious. That's the point. Expectations are contagious. People conform to the energetic climate they are immersed in. Now, this is what law of assumption is all based upon. Whatever you assume your reality to be, it will manifest. Because if you observe, our expectations also influence other people's behavior. So let's suppose if you feel you are not good enough in relationship, you are not lovable, you will subconsciously nurture your partner into behaving as such that they will treat you like shit, and you would be like, there goes my confirmation bias. I knew I was not good enough for relationship, but that's just confirmation bias doing its thing, and your expectations are setting your reality. Now let's focus on the next point. Internalize. The real power comes when you turn the effect inward. What if you became the teacher of your own mind? What if you expected greatness from yourself, not conditionally, but unshakably? What if? What if you can do all of that? Let's talk about how. Belief. You would start speaking to yourself differently. You would challenge yourself more. You would tolerate less mediocrity. Now, you need to understand this. If you change your belief internally, your entire external reality becomes a reflection of that belief. And we have spoken about that, but also understand once you change your belief, you behave differently. You see, your entire behavior starts influencing other people and they start thinking the same about you. That's how people treat us, the way we are treating ourselves. Now, how can you elevate yourself? And slowly, almost invisibly, your identity would rise to match the new standard. Not through effort alone, but through expectations that became embodiment. Now, I'll give you a very great example on this. I do this a lot. I say to a lot of people, I am God's favorite. Do I have any proof? Yes, I have, because I have this belief and my confirmation bias keeps playing it and making it a part of my reality. I keep coming across a lot of moments into my life that make me feel like I'm way too lucky. I'm so blessed. And that's why I not only do I feel blessed, I attract opportunities that are really blessed because I keep saying it to myself that I am God's favorite. And that keeps playing out into my life. You see, my behavior towards myself is also influencing my reality. I wasn't lucky at first up until the point I started saying that I am lucky, I am God's favorite, and that's when luck came to me. Now let's talk about how our reality is being filtered. What is the mechanism inside our brain that makes it happen? Now you see, your reticular activating system, RAS, is a bundle of nerves at the base of your brainstem, and its job is to filter reality. It decides what enters your conscious awareness and what gets ignored. And here is the kicker. You program it with your belief. So you see, the entire process of confirmation bias takes place in our RAS, and our RAS is responsible for making confirmation bias work. And how does it function? You take in millions of bits of data every second, but your conscious mind can only process a tiny fraction. The RAS decides what's important, it shows you what to notice, it blocks out everything else. Now, example of that is when you buy a new car, you start seeing the exact car everywhere. It suddenly appears more. You just told your RAS it mattered. So it brought it into your field of awareness. I'll give you a very great example on this. Ever observed that when you go through a breakup, you suddenly start finding information or quotes or reels or shorts about how breakups are so painful, how love is not real? What's happening over there? You see, your subconscious mind is filtering out information from your reality and bringing it to your conscious awareness based upon what you are already feeling inside. Now, let's look at the pattern. This means you are never seeing reality, you are seeing a filtered simulation based on what your mind has been trained to prioritize. Isn't that what we spoke about? Now, what's the input? You train the RAS through repetition, emotions, and attention. Whatever you feed it consistently, thoughts, goals, affirmation, it accepts as important and filters your environment accordingly. Now, how does this design your reality? Tell it, I always attract opportunities, and it will start flagging conversation, ads, messages, and ideas that confirm that statement. Just like I was explaining to you guys how I feel like I'm God's favorite, And that's what makes me lucky, because that is what I have been feeding to my subconscious mind, and that's what my subconscious mind projects into my reality. So there is an element of blindness, but tell it life is hard and it will actively block out all the evidence that life can be beautiful, easy, or magical, not because that reality doesn't exist, but because your filters say it's irrelevant. You see, this kind of blindness is exactly the reason why I usually offer people a free therapy session with me, which is a part of my enrollment process into my 15 days instant healing program. Now, in this session, what I usually do is I'm trying to filter out what is their belief. Now, there have been people who come to me and they're like, I don't believe we can change. Now you see, this person just told me that their belief is they cannot change. So I reject these kind of people, because I already know no matter how much work I put in with this person, their subconscious mind will filter out and make sure that they can ruin this process so that they can confirm their belief that they cannot be changed. This is one of the most important reason I trained my entire team to filter out people who have this belief that they cannot be healed. Because if they are holding on to this belief that they cannot be changed, even if I do manage to change them, the change will not be permanent. Now let's look at the quantum physics. Now you see, within quantum physics, the observer effect in quantum physics reveals that the conscious observation changes physical matter. In other words, how you see affect what is. The boundary between imagination and reality isn't just blurry, it may not even exist. A very great example is, I can't do it right now, but I will ask you guys to hold on to a pendant in your hand with a string attached to it, and I want you to look at that pendant, and I want you to think it's moving left and right in some direction, and just keep thinking while keeping your hand steady, and you will observe that the pendant will start moving left and right. And to challenge yourself, ask your subconscious mind to observe that it is still and it will stop. Ask your subconscious mind to spin it clockwise and it will start spinning it clockwise. That is observer effect. Whatever you are observing, whatever you are trying to expect from your reality is what's happening. Now, let's understand the wave function. At the subatomic level, particles exist in a state of probability until observed. The act of observation collapses the probability into a definite state. That's science, not mysticism. That's exactly what I was talking to you guys about. Hold that pendant in your hand and observe what happens, because up until the point you are not observing it, the particles have an equal probability. But once you start observing with certain expectations, now they have a definite state, and that's the reason it starts swinging. Now, what's the role of our consciousness? You are not passively watching reality unfold. Your attention is collapsing possibilities into form. You are literally selecting what becomes real based on how you perceive it. Now, the effect is, what you assume is real becomes what you perceive as real. What you perceive as real becomes what you act on. What you act on becomes your experience. And that is quantum physics for you guys. Now, let's talk about responsibility, because I was talking to you guys about how I start analyzing people in my free mini therapy session. So this is also one of the fundamentals that I'm trying to observe in potential clients, whether they are able to take responsibility. Now, what is the aspect of responsibility? You see, you can no longer pretend to be a victim. You are a participant, a co-author, a variable in the equation of every outcome in your life. And after knowing everything that I have taught you up until now, you cannot hold your reality responsible. You need to hold yourself as responsible. You need to hold yourself as accountable, and that's when true transformation begins. Because the power of responsibility is you are the observer, the chooser, the focal point, not a character in the story, but the writer behind the scenes. The choice is always yours because there is an element of choice. And that means you don't wait for the world to give you permission to believe. You believe it first. You observe a new future. You activate the new timeline by claiming it. That's how simple it is. Now, a lot of the people would be thinking that I want to have something first so that I can feel it. But the reality is, you will only attract it if you can feel it before it can come into your life. That is the hard reality. And that only happens once you take accountability and responsibility that your reality is a projection of your subconscious mind. And this is the entire focus of that free mini therapy session that I give to my potential clients, is to see if they are able to take responsibility and take accountability of their actions, and they are able to realize that their reality is a manifestation of their own subconscious mind, and they need to work hard to change that. And if they do not believe in that, I just refuse them. Now let's talk about mirror. Now we're talking about mirror neurons over here. Life is not a classroom, it's a mirror room. It doesn't teach you with lectures, it reflects your inner world in every person, event, and outcome. You are not discovering the truth, you are watching your own truth get played out on repeat. So, what is the message? The world doesn't speak in language, it speaks in frequencies. It doesn't care what you say you want, it listens to who you actually are. It's reading your energy, your assumptions, law of assumption over here, your emotional baseline. That's what it responds to. That is mirror neuron effect. Your reality is mirroring your subconscious thoughts and beliefs. What happens if there is a mismatch? You can say affirmations all day, but if your core identity is still rooted in lack, fear, or doubt, the mirror won't reflect your words, it reflects your frequency. And that's one of the biggest reason why a lot of the affirmations or law of attraction technique or law of assumption techniques do not work for people. And that's what I realized when I became an instant healing hypnotherapist, that the fastest way to attract anything was through hypnosis. I could just get inside my subconscious mind, change the neurological state, and if I could consistently hold on to that neurological state or that feeling, I attract that easily into my life. And that's how I cracked the code. So you need to be in alignment with what you want your reality to mirror. So what is alignment? That's why becoming the person comes before getting the outcome. You don't get fit, then believe you are an athlete. You believe you are an athlete, then get fit. The belief comes first. You see, this is so true. And how does it project? Your life is not showing you what's real, it's showing you what's familiar, what's expected, what's believed. If you want to see something new, you don't need better goals, you need a new identity projecting from the mirror. Now you observe that if you want to attract something into your life, you need to first become the person who has it all. And once you start projecting is when you start attracting. A slight correction over here is, you don't need to fix your life, you need to update the movie projector that's playing inside your head. And that starts by stopping the chase. Stop trying to fix the mirror, start shifting the source, which brings us to the biggest trap of all, how you have been taught to get what you want. And this is what they mean when they say stop chasing and start attracting. When we are talking about love or your SP, a lot of the people do the mistake of, they think they need to go out in their external reality and chase love or chase their SP, and that's how they are going to get it. They will never ever get it. Trust me. The real change is when you want to attract someone, you get inside your subconscious mind and you remove the blockages. Once you do that, you will attract your SP or the love that you truly desire. It will come to you. And I've done it a lot of the times. And not just that, I'm not going to dive deep into that topic, but I was even able to manifest two of my exes back, which I shouldn't be really proud of, but I was testing out these theories. And that's how I made my program. I tested out each and everything that I'm teaching you guys. So that's also possible. Now let's talk about the most important topic, because now we are getting to the heart of the problem. That is familiarity and mirroring. Now that you understand how mirroring works, what is familiarity? You see, familiarity is you don't manifest what you consciously want. You manifest what feels emotionally familiar to your subconscious mind. Even if it's painful, the subconscious chooses the known over the unknown. You see, one of the things you need to understand is your subconscious mind will always choose familiarity over comfort. Comfort is not your subconscious mind's priority. It is familiarity. And why it chooses familiarity? Because in your past, whatever you went through, you survived it. So your subconscious mind is only familiar with those kind of dynamic. It knows that you will survive it, is the reason that it will keep attracting you toward those kind of partners or experiences, because you are familiar with that. You have survived that. Our familiarity works like a magnet. How? Familiarity is magnetic. Whatever emotions your subconscious is used to, chaos, neglect, rejection, pressure, will become your comfort zone and set point of reality. And how does mirror work? Life reflects your familiar emotional frequency back to you, not to punish you, but to show you what you unconsciously expect. Reality is a reflection of what's going inside your subconscious mind. And what happens with repetition? If love felt like abandonment, inconsistency, or proving your worth, you will keep choosing or receiving those dynamics even in different people. And that is the reason a lot of the people keep attracting same kind of relationship dynamics with different kind of people and different faces. That's because your subconscious mind is only familiar with this particular dynamic. So let's dive into how attracting partner is based upon familiarity. You see, you don't fall for people at random. You fall for those who mirror your childhood emotional experiences, especially the unresolved one, because they have more emotional power over you. And remember, emotions that back the belief or fear manifest faster. That's the reason. So this creates a pattern of mirror partners. Your partner reflects back the emotional environment you were raised in. This could be emotional unavailability, fear of rejection, control, or abandonment. If that's what you went through throughout your childhood and that's what you're familiar with, all your relationship will have these dynamics play out in your life. So this creates familiar pain. So if you have any kind of familiar pain, that will keep repeating in your life. You are not attracted to them because they are good for you. You are attracted because they feel like home, and home is what your subconscious mind recognizes from the past. Now, this creates energetic blueprint. Attraction is not based upon logic, it's energetic resonance. Your nervous system finds familiarity in the traits, tone, or emotional rhythm of the partner. And that is one of the biggest reasons why we are not able to see the red flags in a person when we are in love. Because that's what we are familiar with in our childhood, and our subconscious mind is filtering out the red flags. That's why a lot of the people, when they get out of a toxic relationship and they go like, how did I miss those red flags? You didn't miss them. Your subconscious mind filtered out those red flags because this particular person reminded you of your familiar painful childhood experience. So if familiarity is what attracts partners into our life and relationships into our life, when did this familiarity develop inside our subconscious mind? So let's get to the heart of the problem. How familiarity is developed, and it develops between the ages of 1 to 9. You see, between the ages of 1 to 9, your brain operates in theta and delta brainwave states. This is where deep subconscious imprinting occurs. And this occurs through absorption. During this time, your subconscious absorbs without judgment. Every tone, reaction, mood, or silence becomes an emotional lesson. The emotional climate that you have at your place, the emotional atmosphere in your home becomes your template for love, safety, and worth. And all of this goes unquestioned. Why? You don't think this is unhealthy. You think this is what love feels like. This becomes the foundation of future attraction. Once you come to this world, you have no idea what's right and what's wrong. So whatever is the climate at home, however your relationship with your parent is, whatever form of love you get from them, you think this is love, and that's what you keep attracting, because now you have become familiar with that. You had no logic in your childhood. You didn't even understand what's healthy and what's not, and that's the reason you became familiar with toxic patterns. So now let's dive into the heart of the matter. Parental influence on subconscious familiarity. This is the reason why you attract certain partners into your life consistently. Now we need to understand how our familiarity with our parents influences our relationship choices in our adult life relationship. Each of the parent has a distinct influence on our subconscious mind. The emotional familiarity with the masculine or feminine caregiver develops different subconscious traits. So you see, we develop these different traits as a result of our emotional connection with each of our parents. Now, how does each of the parent influence this? Let's dive into that. The mother's influence shapes how you receive love, feel nurtured, express empathy, handle emotions, and relate to creativity or spirituality. So, the traits that are developed as a result of your emotional connection with your mother are empathy, expression of love, ability to give or receive nurturing, creativity, and spirituality. So that means these traits are developed as a result of your emotional bond with your mother. Now, let's suppose if your emotional bond with your mother was not good, if that emotional bond was disrupted, as a result of that, these 5 traits will be compromised inside your subconscious mind. And how will they be compromised? These traits might either be in excess or in deficit, but never ever balance. So observe inside your subconscious mind. Do you feel like you are over empathetic? If you are over empathetic, you're going to find that all the rest of the traits will also be in excess. If you feel like you lack empathy, you will observe all the rest of the traits will also be in deficit inside your subconscious mind. This can happen due to a lot of different reasons, such as if you had an emotionally cold or unavailable mother, you may feel unworthy of softness or affection. Overwhelming or anxious mother, you may associate love with pressure, caregiving, or guilt. So, your association and your familiarity with these traits attracts the sort of relationship dynamics into your life. Now, let's understand the influence of the father. A father's influence shapes your confidence, identity, self-worth, boundaries, and ability to pursue goals or assert yourself. And the sort of traits that are developed as a result of your emotional connection with your father, they are self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, self-respect, and sense of identity. Now, once again, if you had a turbulent relationship with your father, these traits will be compromised. They will not be balanced. They can either be in excess or in deficit. Now, observe inside your subconscious mind. Do you feel like you have a lack of self-respect? Do you have a lack of self-worth? If you have anything in lacking, you're going to observe all the rest of the traits will also be in lacking. Or if you have it in excess, you will have all the rest of the traits in excess as well. But the combined, I'll come to that in a bit. Hold on. So if you had a critical or absent father, you may subconsciously attract emotionally distant or unavailable partners. If you had a controlling or angry father, you may equate love with fear or validation seeking. Now, what we need to understand is we need to look at the collective subconscious familiarity that you have with regards to your father and your mother. That means you need to understand how you have subconscious traits that are influenced by your father, are they in excess or in deficit, and how you have the mother influence trait, are they in excess or in deficit. Now whatever that is, either both will be in excess or either one of them will be in deficit, or it can be any sort of combination. The most common combination that I have found is people have father influence traits in deficit and mother influence traits in excess. This is the most commonly found subconscious trait that I have found inside my clients, and as a result of that, a lot of the people who have this kind of subconscious mind map will keep attracting partners who would either cheat on them or control them, or they might even be narcissistic, because since you have lack of self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, self-respect, you might not be able to set boundaries, and that's what they would do. They would trigger the lacking of these emotions again and again, because that's what you're really familiar with. And the mother influence traits, if you have them in excess, what's going to happen is you will become overly obsessed with your partner, you will overly nurture your partner, you will give them a lot of love, you will overly express love, you might even be overly creative or spiritual, but that becomes your emotional blueprint. That's the kind of partners you attract into your life that trigger the familiarity you have with these traits. These early dynamics create your emotional normal. It becomes your subconscious set point, the kind of love you chase, tolerate, or feel safe with. This is how trauma bond develops. So if you have any kind of father wound or mother wound, as a result of that, the father influence trait and mother influence trait might also be compromised, and that builds your trauma bond pattern. So what is trauma bond? You see, trauma bond is when you keep attracting partners based upon your traumatic relationship with either your father or your mother or both of them. And as a result of not healing your father wound and your mother wound, what's going to happen? Unless healed, you will unconsciously seek out partners who replicate these familiar emotional experiences, not because you want to repeat them, but because your nervous system is wired to it. Now, understand, even your vibration is inviting these kind of partners into your life, and that's how, when you remove the trauma bond, once you reprogram your subconscious mind, and once you balance the traits that are associated with both your parents and they become balanced, that's when your vibration starts attracting in balanced relationship. Let's get to that. Now, what's going to happen as a result of trauma bond? Two things will happen: nature versus nurture. You will either be naturally drawn to partners that have the tendency to trigger traits you are familiar with. That means, if they are in excess or if they are in deficit, they will trigger your familiarity with those traits. Or if you end up with someone who is not triggering your familiarity with those traits, that means this particular person might actually not be bad. They might actually be good for you. What's going to happen? You will nurture your partner by means of behavior or energetic influence to trigger your familiar trait. And if you remember, we spoke about this. If something is not in alignment with your belief, you will ruin it. You will nurture your partner into behaving as such that they might trigger that father or mother wound again and again, and the pattern keeps going on. So as a result, familiarity always wins. Break the familiarity with your parental influence or wound, and love comes knocking on your door, either in form of SP, if that was nurture dynamics playing out in your relationship, or new healthy relationship. So that's the secret. That's exactly what my 15 days instant healing program does. It's based upon all these science, and that's the reason it consistently gives people result again and again. Because once you understand how your subconscious mind works, how each and everything inside your subconscious mind is wired, you will understand how you can attract anything or anyone that you truly desire. Now let's come to the good part. What is the action plan that you can have today that can help you attract your SP? Now this is going to be very interesting. The first thing we are going to do is you need to start with inner state first. So what do you mean? You don't attract your SP by thinking about them. You attract them by becoming the version of you who already feels what love feels like. And by now, you guys should understand what this means. This is the mirror principle. Your SP or any ideal partner mirrors back your emotional frequency. They don't respond to your words or wants, they respond to your emotional baseline. And because I understand this, I was able to attract my ex. Pretty bad move, but that was a science experiment. I did it for you guys. So, what do you need to do? Number one, desire clarity. Get clear on the kind of relationship you desire. Is it emotionally safe, playful, passionate, deeply loyal, or calm? The universe needs a clear signal. So first of all, identify what do you want in your partner. What kind of relationship dynamic are you looking for? Be crystal clear on that. Then what do you need to do? Now you need to create an inventory for your feelings. And what do I mean by that? List out the exact emotions you want to feel in your ideal relationship. Is it safe, desired, seen, valued, loved, excited, connected, understood? Whatever it is, I want you to list them down. Just list them down one by one. Then we are going to do some emotional rehearsal. And how is that? Now begin triggering those emotions before the relationship arrives. Why? Because the subconscious mind attracts what's familiar, not what's new. And by that I mean you need to completely rewire your lifestyle. How will you do that? Your lifestyle needs to match with these emotions. Design your daily activities that make you feel these emotions. Example, want to feel valued, set boundaries or invest in self-care. Want to feel seen, engage in creative expression or honest conversations. Want to feel loved, give love in ways that feel good through nature, pets or service. The reason why we want all of this inside your lifestyle is because of emotional repetition. The more you feel these states throughout your day, the more your nervous system wires them as familiar. You become emotionally magnetic to your SP, not because you chase them, but because you are already radiating the relationship that you want. Now, as the result of this, what's going to happen? As a result of this, your subconscious mind will come in alignment. When your inner state matches the outer relationship you desire, you collapse the distance between the desire and manifestation. And this is how you shift your timeline and bend reality. So what's the most important point? The most important point is you don't attract love by searching for it. You attract love by being it. And that's the end. Now go and attract love. Now I want to emphasize over here the method that I have explained to you guys. I want you to try this out and be consistent with it at least for 30 days because you're working with your conscious mind. You haven't healed your father wound or your mother wound. So this will require a bit of a time because you are consciously reprogramming your subconscious mind. But if you want to get this done quickly, that's what my 15 days instant healing program is designed for. In these 15 days, I will teach you the art of instant healing hypnosis by getting inside your subconscious mind, removing your father wound and your mother wound. And in less than 2 to 3 minutes, you will be able to feel all the father influence trait and mother influence traits will become balanced. And as a result of that, you attract balanced relationship into your life. And that's why my clients feel so surprised when they start attracting these good relationships. But I also give you a roadmap to get inside your subconscious mind and remove all the blockages, because if you can change any kind of neurological state in less than 2 to 3 minutes, why not go an extra mile? But I also teach you conversational hypnosis that makes you a magnet in any kind of conversation in less than a minute of casual conversation. And you will observe how this is one of the biggest tools you can have in any kind of relationship. People just fall in love with you the moment you start talking. So if you would be interested in that, you can sign up for a free mini therapy session with me. And now you guys know what you need to be aware of, how you can get refused in this free mini therapy session. And if I refuse you, there is no hard feeling. But if you come with the belief that this program is going to work for you, placebo effect will happen and your belief will manifest. And I will teach you the art of getting inside your subconscious mind and completely changing your reality and attracting the love that you truly desire. So I really hope that this video helps you guys out. I have placed in a lot of efforts in this video. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a lovely comment. Share this video with someone who can benefit from this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Up until then, stay happy, stay blessed, and keep healing. Bye bye.